It's a privilege for me tonight to introduce our guest speaker. Our speaker tonight comes to us from Edmond, Oklahoma. He works for AT&T, and he's actually their Director of Education Advocacy in the state of Oklahoma. And this gentleman does a great deal for education. He's an educator first. He's served as an educator in the state of Texas for 6+ years. He's worked at the college level. Of course, he's in business, in the business industry now, but I think his heart's still close to that of education. He operates a daily blog that's the Speed of Creativity, where he documents and talks about the needs in education, public education, and what is out there for our students and how they can utilize and incorporate technology. So our speaker tonight is a real change agent for education and that of authentic uses of technology in the instructional process. We've had opportunity to cross paths along the way. He's a tremendous individual, does a great job promoting what education can be for our kids, and has a vision for what the future holds for you. So it's with great pleasure I introduce you to our guest speaker tonight, Mr. Wesley.
Thank you very much. It is a real privilege to be here, and I'm going to see if I can untether this a little bit. You know, up until this point, you guys have kind of been tethered, and I'm going to address some of my remarks tonight to you all, because this is about you, right? We're here to celebrate you. We're to celebrate years of work, and you've been kind of tethered in the same way that a lot of times speakers are going to be tethered here to the podium, but tonight is the night that we mark the moment where you're not tethered anymore. Right? Is anybody moving out tonight? Not quite yet. Okay. So that may be coming a little bit further down the road. But I'm going to have some slides up here, and I'm actually going to also, I understand you all don't have your cell phones with you. Is that correct? Okay. Does anyone in the audience have a cell phone of any kind with them? Okay. Please, at AT&T, we would love for you to leave that cell phone on, because we don't want you to miss that call. And if you know how to text message, I'll be asking you to participate in an audience survey here in a minute. That'll give you a chance to participate. So, but I want to talk a little bit about speed. Okay? Anybody have keys in their pocket? Anybody got some keys? Okay. What if I handed you the keys to that? What is that? What is that? It's a Viper, that's right. It's a red Viper. Anybody driven a red Viper? Any of you? Anybody in the audience driven a Viper of any kind? We have one. How was it? It was fast. Are you willing to say how fast you went? No. Well, I wish that I actually, had that car myself, and then I had the keys to hand to you for that kind of vehicle. What would our temptation be if we were to step in that vehicle right now? Get some attention, right? Go fast. And the thing is, as you all become untethered and sort of set free from high school, it's amazing how fast you're going to be able to go. And just like it would be a huge responsibility for me to get keys out of my pocket right now and say, here, I don't know, how fast do you think that car can go? How fast do you think the Viper is capable of going? 180, maybe 200, okay? It'd be a big responsibility for me to hand you those keys. How many of you are licensed drivers? Licensed drivers, look at that. That's a big responsibility. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of those responsibilities. Life goes by fast, and I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes it's like life is passing me by so quickly. When I was driving here tonight from Oklahoma City, I actually had 6 supersonic capable jets at 200 feet off the deck right over me with smoke behind them, because the Thunderbirds are performing at Tinker Air Force Base tomorrow. And wow, wasn't that a reminder of how fast we can go? When I was actually sitting in your seat almost 20 years ago, that's where I thought I wanted to be. I thought I wanted to be going with my hair on fire, Mach 3, and I was off to the Air Force Academy. And I actually ended up going to pilot training. How many of you were challenged a little bit coming up with your statement of what I'm going to do? where I'm off to? Anybody feel any pressure? Okay. Seeing a couple nods. You know, you've got ideas and dreams about where you're going to go, but we're going to talk tonight about how the future is yet to be written. And none of us can predict with certainty exactly what tomorrow holds. So, I do work for a company called AT&T, and you all probably knew AT&T in the audience growing up, those adults, as Bell. We're in the middle of a huge revolution. And what I'm holding in my hand right now is a cell phone. And how many of you have a cell phone with you? The phone that you have, whether it's an iPhone or not, is more powerful than the computers we had when we landed on the moon in July of 1969. You have a computer more powerful in your hand, whatever kind of cell phone you have. And so while our company's in the middle of a revolution, becoming an entertainment company and becoming a wireless company, we're also in the middle of a revolution in our country. This is a picture of my wife and I in Shanghai, China, because last September I was invited to go there to present. And we're looking across the river at Pudong, and that's the ivory tower, which is kind of the icon of Shanghai. It did not exist 10 years ago. Everything that you see across that river was rice paddies 10 years ago. And you've probably heard some people talk about outsourcing, okay? How many people shop at Walmart? What percentage of retail in the United States right now is sold at Walmart? It's like 33%. How many of the products at Walmart are produced in China or India? It's unbelievable. You know, I've got something that's probably not news for you. We're not going to beat China and India on wages. If you were hoping to be able to sign up with a company tomorrow and with your high school degree, be able to work 30 years for that company, you might be able to do it, but chances are less and less. So you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to get creative. So what I'd like to do is show you something that I just actually received in the mail yesterday. Has anybody seen one of these devices before? Okay, how many of you graduates have a laptop that you're going to be taking with you, or that you have now, that you're own? Do any of you guys? Okay. So, you know, that's probably 25%. How much did your laptop cost? Does anybody know? One of you that raised your hand. Was it around $1,000? Not sure. Didn't buy it yet. Oh, okay. Your next one you may buy yourself, so you'll know how much that will cost. This is the one laptop per child, or the EXO laptop. It's called the $100 laptop because that's what MIT tried to produce it at. It's $135 now. And that picture that you see up on the slide is our students in Africa, because countries are buying these laptops for every single student today. Every single student in their country. And those are available today. So I want to go ahead and give you some homework. Is that okay? Did you think you were done with homework? Did you think you were done with learning? Of course not, right? Because your teachers taught you that learning is going to go on and on. And so the first thing that I want to do is recognize the fact that as I've been here in Oklahoma the past 2 years, and I've worked with school districts all over the state, you all are so fortunate to have one of the best school districts. In fact, I would go so far as to say the most innovative school district with respect to technology use and video conferencing. How many of you have participated in a video conference since you've been here at Howe? Graduates. Okay. Some of you haven't? No video conference? No? You guys have probably done more video conferencing than any other school district that's here. So, homework number one is to give thanks. Give thanks to all these people that are around you. And I know it's hot, I'm warm up here too, but isn't it great to be in this beautiful facility where we can have over 600 people here to recognize these graduates? It is. It is great to have so many people here. So there's a lot of people that got you here, and so here I'm going to give you, really quickly, 10 pieces of advice from Wes, okay? Advice number one, you only get one chance to give a first impression. When you walk into that first job interview, or maybe it's not your first job interview, maybe it's your third or your fourth or whatever it is, you only get one shot at that first impression. And more than ever, people are getting an impression from you, not just from what you say, but also from what they see online. How many of you, that are graduates, have your own social networking site of some kind? Okay? This is tough, right? We're admitting our hands are a little bit slow. Okay, we'll ask the audience to participate too, and I bet the numbers are going to be even higher than that. Advice number two is don't be afraid to fail. You know, when I was graduating from high school, the number one thing I thought I was going to do was be a pilot. You know what? I got through 52 hours of pilot training, and I washed out of the program. I did not graduate. That was tough. That was hard. But doors opened for me that I had not even seen before. And so, while in school, we emphasize so much, you cannot fail. Nobody wants to fail. There are always opportunities to learn whenever we fail and make mistakes. And I bet if you ask your parents and your grandparents that are sitting out here, a lot of the lessons that they remember in life came from failure, even more than victory. Anybody a Star Wars fan? Okay, so my question is, who's your Yoda, right? Because Luke had Yoda, and he was the person who was able to lead and mentor him. So advice number 3 is seek out Yodas. Those Yodas may or may not be the teachers that you have in class. They may be the person who you're working next to. Okay? They may be your boss. Piece number 4. Be a critical thinker. You know, you can't believe everything you see. And while that seems obvious in that picture, today more than ever with the internet, I think that's in our face. The fact that we can't just take things at face value. How many of you want to have your own business? Anybody aspire to do that? Okay, good for you. Because while it is exciting to go get a job, it's even more exciting to have your own business. And if you think about the things that really drive our country, being an entrepreneur and having those new ideas is the engine of growth in our country. Oh, wrong direction. Advice number 6 is to seek innovation. You all have been blessed. How many of you graduates have been here since pre-K or kindergarten? You've been here the whole time. Okay? You all have been blessed, whether you were here for 13 years or you were here for 5 years or 1 year, to be in a very innovative district. But now it's going to be up to you to decide where to go, whether you're going to further your education or you're going to go work. And I would encourage you to seek innovation. I would encourage you to change the world one conversation at a time. Anybody here want to be president or governor? Anybody have that aspiration? Wes, it's pretty hot. We're kind of tired. We may not be able to think clearly because we're here in the middle of this hot gym. But whatever your aspiration might be, I want to encourage you with this thought. You do not have to wait until you have that position, until you have that title in order to make a difference. The conversations that you have tonight with your fellow graduates, that you have with your brothers and sisters, that you have with your friends, you have the opportunity to change the world. Piece of advice number 8, talk with pictures. Okay? How many of you know how to make a PowerPoint slide presentation? Okay? I hope that's everybody. Okay? It is. I know you guys do. So when you're trying to communicate, speak with pictures. Okay? Because you can speak so much more powerfully. The brain processes an image over 60,000 times faster than it does text. So it's important when we can to use images. And I'm going to leave my last 2 pieces of advice. Okay, this is going to be kind of tough. If you've got a cell phone, gosh, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to read that text. You may be able to read it if you're over here on this side. I want you to complete the following survey. You can send a text message right now to 41411. Okay, this is a live poll, using Poll Everywhere. And if you do not use text messaging, you can send it to the first code up there, which is what? My lenses are blurry. 4059, is that right? So you're going to text CAST, C-A-S-T. Well, here, let me do this. Hey, that's a little bit better. Send your text message right now to 41411. Come on, is anybody sending a text message to American Idol? Come on, let's be honest. Folks, if you don't know how to text message, how can you find out tonight? You can ask that young person sitting down here or sitting beside you, right? And they'll be able to show you. Okay? We'll see in just a second if anybody texts the vote. Text your vote to 41411. If you don't use any social networking sites, text 4059. If you use a social networking site up to 1 hour a week, cast 4066. If you use it 1 to 7 hours. I share this survey because I know Howe is out here in rural Oklahoma, right? But you know what? How many of you have your own cell phone? Right here. They don't have it with you right now, but how many of you graduates have your own cell phone? Okay? That's almost every hand, right? We are connected in ways that we wouldn't have imagined that we could before. And now I'm just going to kind of get to a little bit of a serious point. Because while it's exciting to have all this access, it's also important to realize that already there's a permanent record for you, potentially permanent record that's been created out there. You know who's created it? A company called Google. You know Google's in Oklahoma? They just bought 900 acres outside Pryor, Oklahoma, and I met one of their employees last week. They don't use all 900 acres right now. They only use 300. They pick their site for power and water. So the other 600 acres they use to play paintball. And they have both, well, not both, they have all three, an Xbox 360, a PlayStation 3, and a Wii, all at their place of work, and they use them. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Well, Google is a powerful influence in our world today, and if you Google yourself, like I Googled Mr. Ford, your technology director, you're going to find things out about it. And if you click images, you're going to find pictures. And sure enough, there on the second row, third image from the left, is a picture of Mr. Ford that I snapped in Oklahoma City and put on the web about 3 weeks ago. And there it is for the whole world to see. Now it's a great picture. He's showing off his Honda Element, right? It has this video conferencing capability in it. But the point is, how many of you have Googled yourself? Have you Googled yourself? You need to do that regularly. Parents, how many of you have Googled the boyfriend or girlfriend? Have you done that? I'm very serious. Because when you Google that person and you get onto the social networking sites, it's amazing what you'll learn. This is Sarah, I won't say her last name, but I taught her in 6th grade back in the mid-90s in Texas. And she's a freshman at the University of Texas right now. And this is her Facebook account. Now, Sarah has been posting pictures of herself, and her friends have been posting pictures of themselves. And here's the thing to realize, folks. The things that you post online and your friends post online are going to be the things your employers look at when they want to hire you. So this isn't advice for 2 years from now. This is advice for tonight. Anybody's cell phone got a picture capability on it? Of course it does. Basically every cell phone does. Be smart. Make good choices. Not only about the pictures you take and post, but the pictures that your friends do. Okay? So advice number 9 is to make your profile private on one of those social networking sites. Parents, it's amazing what you can learn about boyfriends and girlfriends if you'll sit down with your child and say, can you show me your profile? Can you show me your friends? And go ahead and explore those. And it is important to make them private, but it's also important to keep this in mind. This was something that the person commented on my blog today. They said, don't put it out on your Facebook unless you want your grandmother to see it. Is there a picture right now on your Facebook that you would want me to put up on the screen? Because I could, right? You think I'm that smart? No, I can't hack into Facebook. But it is possible that anything you put on the web can be seen that way. So, the last thing I want to do is just share a few statistics with you, and I'm going to wrap up. And this comes from a presentation that was put together by a Colorado educator named Carl Fish. It was remixed by several people, and then this is a version that actually a college graduate named Jeff Brennan put together. It was called Shift Happens. And the original presentation was called Did You Know? Did you know that 1 out of 8 couples married in the United States last year met online? Did you know there are over 106 million registered users of MySpace? But of course, that statistic's almost 2 years old. Did you know that if MySpace were a country, it would be the 11th largest in the world? And I think the updated statistic is the 8th largest country in the world. Did you know the average MySpace page is visited 30 times per day? Did you know that? Did you know we're living in exponential times? There are over 2.7 billion searches performed on Google each month. Who did we ask all these questions to before Google? Well, we asked them to each other, we asked them to the librarian, but the fact is we have more opportunity now to access those questions than ever before. The number of text messages sent and received every day exceeds the total population of our planet. There are about 540,000 words in the English language. That's about 5 times as many as we had during Shakespeare's time. More than 3,000 new books are published every day. It's estimated that a week's worth of the New York Times contains more information than a person was likely to come across in a lifetime in the 18th century. So let's get personal. You're going to go to college? You're going to go to some kind of a continuing education, of course. Whether that's on the job or it's at a university, let's talk about what you're going to learn there. Because studies show that it's estimated 40 exabytes of unique new information are going to be generated worldwide this year. That's more that's created this year than in the previous 5,000 years. The amount of new technical information is doubling every 2 years. And so this means if you're starting a 4-year technical or college degree, half of what you learn in your first year is going to be outdated by your 3rd year. What are we going to do? We're going to have to keep learning. By 2010, it's predicted that information is going to be doubling every 72 hours. So, this is my last question. What does it mean? Let's go back to where we started. We talked about speed. We talked about this car, right? I don't have that car today. And you probably don't have that car today. And somebody's driven it over here. And we probably all like to drive it. But the fact is, the technology that we have in our pockets and the technology we have access to really does allow us to travel at speeds that are unbelievable. So, your second homework assignment for today is to watch this movie, Meet the Robinsons. Have you seen it? What's the theme of the hero of Meet the Robinsons? I saw you say it. Keep moving forward. That's a picture of the highest energy collision that's ever been discovered in the entire universe. It's called the Bullet Cluster, the Bullet Galaxy Cluster. The highest impact event that we've ever recorded since the dawn of time. Who knows what we're going to discover next? There's an amazing world of opportunities that are out there. And so my last piece of advice to you is to dream big dreams. Because graduates, I'm talking to each one of you now. I'm almost done, really. The folks that are going to change the world are sitting right here. In fact, it's all of us. But each one of you has the opportunity to change the world today, one conversation at a time. But I would encourage you not to have that small dream, but to have a big dream, and to not lose that idealism. Write the future. You have had an opportunity that you've been in high school to do a lot of reading, to take in a lot of information. But it's your turn now to be untethered, to step out, and to write your future. And I wish each and every one of you the best of luck as you do that. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here.